Friends, எல்லாருக்கும் வணக்கம். ஜஸ்டிஸ் செல்லமேஸ்வர் மாதிரி நான் கூட இங்கிலீஷில் தான் பேச போகிறோம். வீட்டில் தமிழ், கடையில் தமிழ், ஆஃபீஸில் எல்லாம் கொஞ்சம் கொஞ்சம் பேச முடியும். ஆனால் இந்த மாதிரி ஸ்பீச் எனக்கு பண்ண முடியாது. ஸோ ப்ளீஸ் forgive me. The only way for me to communicate properly will be if I speak in English over here. Friends, what is it that we are protecting? And who are we protecting it from? This is the question. These questions are what are on everybody's mind today. When we talk of protecting the Constitution, what is it? What are we protecting in a specific way? Well, as other speakers have said already, first and foremost, and this is such a simple proposition, it is astonishing that we even need to say this. But first and foremost, the idea that India belongs equally to all Indians. This is such a simple, basic proposition which lies at the heart of the Constitution. But in the last 12 years, we have seen continuous attempts from the Prime Minister all the way down to suggest that India does not belong to all Indians. When the Prime Minister in 2024 gave more than 100 speeches during the election campaign, warning voters, Hindu voters, that if we are defeated, if the opposition wins, then those people who have too many children will take your buffaloes, will take your land, will take your Mangal Sutra. This is an example of the Prime Minister of India openly declaring that he does not believe in the Constitution of India, which says all Indians are equal and that this country belongs equally to every single Indian and not to anybody on the basis of religion. The idea we are also protecting is the idea that people of India are sovereign and that this sovereign people are the ones who choose the government. Friends, today we have a situation where the government is trying to decide and choose who is Indian and who is not. One of the weaknesses of the Constitution, and we should speak openly about what some of the weaknesses are. The Constitution of India said that elections will be conducted by an independent election commission. Very good. But it did not make specific provisions for how this election commission will be constituted. It left that decision to Parliament, to successive governments of the day. Today we are in a situation where it is very clear that the government is using its power to select election commissioners in such a way that it is attacking the independence of the election commission and attacking the very concept and idea of free and fair elections. So speeches made during an election campaign that violate the code of conduct, when the speeches are made by the Prime Minister, the election commission is silent. Today we have seen how over the last 2 years, the process under the garb of special intensive revision of electoral rolls, how lakhs and lakhs of Indian voters are being deleted, their names are being removed from the electoral rolls. This is also one of the fundamental ways in which the promise of the Constitution is being undermined, is being attacked. As I said, the government wants to decide who will elect and it is getting the Election Commission to delete names, whether in Bengal, Tamil Nadu, everywhere. Lakhs and lakhs, crores of people's names have been removed. When we talk of protecting the Constitution, we're talking about the idea that there is freedom of religion. And the choice of what religion an Indian wants to follow belongs to the realm of conscience and not to legislation, not to government orders. I want you to imagine a situation where you elect a member of parliament belonging to a certain political party. Tomorrow, if that person who you have elected, let us say you have elected somebody from DMK. Tomorrow when that person defects, if that person defects to, let us say, Bharatiya Janata Party, or let's look at example in West Bengal. In West Bengal, voters in 2024 elected 29 members of parliament on the ticket of Trinamool Congress. But when 21 of those MPs defected to the Bharatiya Janata Party, there is no inquiry. But if one MP were to convert their religion, say that I am no longer Hindu, I want to become Christian, or I want to become Muslim, there will be anger, outrage, calls for inquiries. There will be a demand to investigate whether this conversion was done on the basis of coercion, whether this conversion was done on the basis of bribery. And a member of parliament can leave one party and go to the other, no problem. There is even a judge of Madras High Court who says individual religious conversion is okay, mass conversion is not okay. Here you have a mass defection of MPs who violate their agreement with the electorate. People voted for them as Trinamool Congress. And they defect as a group, they go over to another small party which is allied to BJP. And that's supposed to be okay. So somehow we have a situation where, and it's not just this government, for years successive governments have obsessed with the question of religious conversion. How do we control it? How do we restrict it? Today, half a dozen states have extremely unconstitutional laws regulating how young people should get married if they belong to different religions, how they need government permission first. All of this, I believe, are part and parcel of the violation of the freedom of religion that is guaranteed in the Constitution. You now, of course, have newer manifestations. FCRA is not directly about freedom of religion, but it is going to impact, if the amendments are passed, it will impact minority institutions in particular. Thanks to the opposition of many different states, many different parties, the FCRA bill has now been referred to parliamentary committee, but the government is very keen to pass this law as a means of exerting control, all in the name of protecting India from foreign influence. But when Donald Trump says to India, don't buy oil from Iran, don't buy oil from Russia, then there is no danger of foreign intervention. Mr. Modi is very happy to obey whatever Donald Trump says. That is not regarded as foreign interference. But FCRA is being brought in as a way of allegedly fighting the foreign hand. and we can see very clearly what the actual aim is, just as the law that was passed earlier this year on lakh properties is also aimed at restricting, regulating, grabbing properties, putting pressure on minority institutions and minority communities. Friends, another important issue that we need to remember when we speak of protecting the Constitution is protecting freedom of speech, freedom of press, freedom of assembly. We saw how during the protest of young people, Gen Z, in Delhi, in Bombay, in many different cities, every attempt was made to restrict people's right to gather peacefully, to protest. Today there is an attack on people expressing themselves on social media. Hundreds and thousands of tweets, Instagram posts that are critical of the government are being deleted. Cases are being filed against young people. Cases have been filed against journalists. All of which, to my mind, is an open violation of Article 19 of the Constitution. So today, if we talk of protecting the Constitution, we have to stand firm on the question of freedom of speech, freedom of press, freedom of assembly. And finally, this is particularly important in a state like Tamil Nadu. What is under attack today? A fundamental constitutional concept, the idea of India as a union of states. Mr. Modi and the BJP may talk of cooperative federalism, but if you look at the track record of the last 12 years, every attempt has been made to encroach on the rights of states, to increase the power of interference and control of the union government, whether in revenue and tax matters, police matters, investigation matters. And the latest attack which has been launched is the attempt to push through delimitation and alter the voice of southern states, eastern states, the collective voice of people of different parts of India in the Lok Sabha. This move, this attempt was defeated when it was first brought by the Modi government, but you can be absolutely certain that they are dead set on pursuing delimitation at any cost. Before the cockroach movement, we saw how the support of MPs from West Bengal, Punjab, other places, Maharashtra, was manipulated by the BJP. So every attempt is going to be made in order to have those numbers and push for delimitation. And what Justice Chalameshwar said is absolutely true. That when you do not allow a 543-member Lok Sabha to function properly, you don't allow debates, you don't allow questions to be asked, you don't allow committees to function, you don't refer important pieces of legislation for review to parliamentary committees. Just look at the number of days that Parliament meets every year. So if 543 MPs do not get time to speak, do not have a place to debate, forget about who is from Tamil Nadu, who is from UP. MPs represent the collective will of the people of India, and there is no space given to them. In Parliament, the very concept of parliamentary supervision and oversight over the executive today is a dead letter. You can imagine what will happen if in the guise of women's reservation, which they are not interested in doing actually, they increase the number of seats to 850. What they will produce, and maybe this is what Mr. Modi wants, is a Chinese style or North Korean style parliament, which will meet once or twice every year and applaud the leader for his speech and go home. They do not want a forum that will question them, where laws are debated, where arguments are put, and where accountability of government is fixed. It is astonishing that you could have had the firing of pellet guns on young people in Delhi with at least 10 people injured. We know from hospital records. At least 10 young people injured with the firing of pellet guns in Delhi. And you can have a government minister standing up in parliament and telling a lie कि कोई गोली नहीं चली, no shot was fired. And the Home Minister, whose responsibility it was, law and order in Delhi, refuses to come to parliament, refuses to answer questions, refuses to even make a statement. So if this is the situation with a Lok Sabha with 543 MPs, you can imagine what a joke it will be on the people of India when there are 850 MPs, none of whom will have a voice, none of whom will have the ability to ask questions. I cannot think of a more disastrous outcome for Indian democracy and a greater attack on the spirit of the Constitution of India than the whole delimitation scheme, which is being falsely presented as a move needed to provide reservation for women. If the goal is to provide reservation for women, nothing prevents this government from tomorrow giving 1/3 of the 543 seats to women MPs. But the idea is to stifle parliament and block every avenue that the Constitution envisaged, where there would be accountability, to block that, to finish it off. So today, I'm very grateful to be speaking at this event and very honored to be here, and the work that the Protect the Constitution movement is doing by highlighting this, the attack that is taking place on the Constitution from every direction. But first and foremost and most importantly, this is an attack on the very idea of democracy, the very idea of India, the very idea of federalism. And we need more such events in different parts of Tamil Nadu, in different parts of India, where these issues can be raised and debated and the public made aware. Thank you very much.
ஊடகம் கார்ப்பரேட் அரசியல்வாதிகளின் கைப்பாவையாக அடிமைகளாக இருந்தது போதும், இனி சாட்டை எடுத்து சுழற்றும் நேரம் வந்துவிட்டது. ஊடகம் பொதுமக்களாகிய உங்களுக்காக, உங்களாலேயே இயக்கப்பட வேண்டும். ஊடக சுதந்திரத்திற்காக உங்களின் பங்களிப்பை இன்றே அளித்திடுங்கள்.
ஓ, அப்ப அந்த மிஸ்டர் அண்ட் மிஸ்ஸஸ் பெர்ஃபெக்ட் உண்மையிலேயே வர்த்து.
நரம்பு தளர்ச்சியிலிருந்து விடுபட்டு உடம்பு ஒரு புது வீரியம் பெற மா நேச்சுரல்ஸோட மிஸ்டர் பர்ஃபெக்ட்டை யூஸ் பண்ணுங்க.